Um, it is the debut. It has finally arrived, James. The El Hijo Del Vikingo will be coming to AEW Dynamite for the long-awaited. Where's the drum roll? Dream match against Kenny Omega. Um, yeah. So, man, filthy discourse this week. Instead of well, I did see hours and hours after this. A lot of excitement. Obviously, this match was supposed to go down in December of 2021.
Yeah, in AAA.
And
Was he supposed to drop the belt?
I think he was supposed to drop the belt
Okay,
to Vikingo there. Vikingo's the champion now, but this doesn't not look like it's for the title. Um,
makes sense.
so the cool thing is it's going to happen in AEW, so we'll get the superior production value, we think, and it'll be we won't have to track it down through Lucha Blog or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. And
yeah.
it's just like, man, I'm so excited for this match because rather than it happen in December 2021 where Kenny was struggling physically, I think we all can kind of look at it now and say it was amazing he made it even that far. But since he's come back, I feel like he's like been as great as he ever was athletically and everything like that. So this should be a match of the year candidate. Like they just get out the way and let them do their thing.
Well, in a year where he doesn't already have the match of the year, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
you got
This should be one of the
that
better
pesky
matches of the
Osprey
year.
that,
This,
that pesky Osprey Omega match gets in the way of saying seeing a match of the year because it's like, yeah, bro, that might be the best match we've seen this decade. So
yeah,
like we can't even really really be talking about that sort of thing. Like I know Josh likes to go 50 deep into his match of the year contender thing. I don't. Like I try to treat it like it's like sports. We like, all right, we are talking in this MVP race. We were talking about Giannis, Jokic, Embiid. Get Jason Tatum the fuck out of here. No disrespect to him. He's having a great year, but we're not here to talk about him right now. He's not on that tier. There's no point in talking about him. Like, if we are using a Heisman finalist discussion, he's not making it to New York. Right. So let's not even bring up, these sorts of matches. But yeah, man, it's gonna be hard to get in. It's gonna be hard to get into New York against
yeah,
to go
yeah.
up against Osprey Omega. So whatever Osprey and Vikingo got planned, it's gonna be great. But the
It,
bar is so high this year because of what
yeah,
is the what do you call it, the front runner, if you will.
yeah. Kenny has been ever since 2019, since he kind of like broke into Mexico, like he's taken like a Mexicutioner like persona. It seems like Dragon Lee, Phoenix, Pentagon,
Laredo Kid.
Laredo Kid. Now Vikingo is like
And they had Andrade. That match wasn't as good as those,
Andrade.
but Andrade as well. Yeah.
Any Mexican can get it. Apparently,
Oh my god.
like Adrian Broner once said. This seems to be Kenny Omega's philosophy, but yeah, it was all good. Everybody was celebrating this match. Obviously, they booked it at the last minute because Vikingo's dates are kind of tied up otherwise.
Feels like he's always working.
Yeah. And some discourse got started, and the usual suspects did their thing, and the where's the story, this is not a dream match, all this stuff, this preemptive throwing the water on the excitement, and all this did I think this was kind of announced at the same time as Forbidden Door 2 was on Twitter. So I went ahead and reposted our "You don't have to listen to people pretending not to know who Japanese wrestlers are" clip. I was like, let's get ahead of it now. Let's before all these dumb conversations start all over again. And then with Vikingo, the it's not a dream match stuff, and it's one fucking guy dictating the discourse on this and then deleting his tweets like a coward when he can't take the heat. But you know unfortunately, like that, with the platforms and the reach, it's almost like when some shit gets really loud on a certain area of like the news, and then like the real news is like forced to like talk about it just because it's so loud. Um,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
I
it's like
hate this, and
the
it
what do
and
you
it
call it, like the kind of like the bombardment of what like the Trump administration was doing, and like to like new like cable news where it's like there's something every single day and there's so much it's overwhelming and it's like instead of talking about what's important from like a macro perspective, taking a breath, like you have to talk about the next potential scandal type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get you.
And I'm just like kind of tired of it. And it's like we keep falling for the same traps. Like I didn't say a thing about it. And it was just like this is clear. There's a clear agenda going on. Let's figure this out together. Let's start learning what this looks like because this feels this feels calculated kind of. And I don't give a fuck what any of these people say. You're not about to like squash my enthusiasm for Kenny Omega versus El Hijo del Vikingo because I know you know who Vikingo is. I know that if you're online tweeting about wrestling, you've seen the gifs, you've seen the clips, you've seen him ranked number 7 in the PWI 500. You've talked about it. I know.
Which to be fair, when it came out, what did we both say? He shouldn't be that high. Right?
Correct.
We both said that. So like, but we understand like the level of wrestler at his peak as far as his like how spectacular he is. He's probably the best flyer in the game right now.
Yeah, like he's him. Like, and we already know what this is going to be. This like it's nothing but it'll be another guy that WWE tries to sign in a week after appearing on the television. It'll be. Yeah. Another great match that isn't going to be coming from New York. So it's like they want to get in front of those and tell you it's not, because now you know what the next play is that's going to be ran on this. Oh, it wasn't that good. Like that's coming next. So it's gonna like I feel like we all know what to reasonably expect here, and
like he's gonna hit like he's gonna hit like an inverted 630, and like people won't know what to do, like to the floor,
scrambling.
Like, it's something outrageous is going to happen, and like that's kind of what happened with like the Commander ladder match, the brass ring match.
Yeah.
Right, where it's like they did so much incredible stuff, and like people are like, it's so interesting to me, right? There's a million matches. It doesn't matter the style. After a certain amount of time, I'm going to forget everything I watched over a 30-minute or 30-minute, 20-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute runtime, right? But anytime somebody does like a match with spectacular stuff, the first thing people go to is people won't remember what happened in the match 5 minutes from now. I don't remember what happened in the match where they did nothing 5 minutes ago. What's your point? What is that? You know what? Like when I watch an NBA regular season game, you know what? I should remember every single possession. Right? That's the logic they're coming up with, right?
You should be like LeBron James. You should start calling out stuff that happened 8:32 into the second quarter, and defensive switches and shit.
Right. Yeah, man. Like, so it's a lot of that stuff, and it's like, look, man.
How does this grow the audience? How does it it's just like, I'm willing to say like nobody actually knows what grows the audience, because a lot of people
if someone did, then it would be grown, right?
Like then all companies will be doing the same thing. Right. Like if it was this clear on what grew the audience, everyone would be ripping each other off left and right, and there would be one style of pro wrestling, because nobody would like tamper with the success and gamble otherwise. Like they know what AEW is. The AEW is not like, they don't want to be WWE. So why do you continue to heap these things that WWE would want to do, or like how WWE has trained you to watch wrestling? Why do you consistently think that AEW should do these things? Like the fans that Tony Khan is after, they get it. It's okay, buddy. You don't have to argue for this made up person that
right. And also, like, it's WWE. They don't announce their full cards almost ever. They just put matches on the shit all the goddamn time. So why is announcing a match supposedly like, James, this is a big mistake? You're giving away this big match. One, people of his ilk or in his kind of like let's say like circle would be like, who the fuck is this guy, right? But then on the other end, it's also this guy who, in good faith, knows that he's really fucking good. Is going like, you're wasting, the potential of doing X, Y, and Z with him. Not really, because no one knows who he is. They will know come Wednesday because he's going to be incredible.
Right. And it's just amazing. Like, we just saw last year they didn't have a WrestleMania Night 1 main event announced.
I mentioned that, in like his next thing I know, his tweet was deleted.
Would you look at that?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm not saying that I caused him to fold, but I'm saying like there were lots of people making great points about like why it's not a big deal, and eventually he folded.
Love that for us. But Omega and Vikingo.
That's why I will give Rod Geary, right? Like, you say he folds like coward. Like, I will say this: if people give him enough stuff to say, "Hey, you're wrong on this" or whatever else, and he'll delete it. Like, that's much better than leaving up like Ryan Satin talking about how Pat McAfee humanized Vince McMahon, serial rapist.
That's true. That's is true.
Up. Look, I haven't looked
Raj,
in a while, but like last time I checked, it was still up.
Go ahead, use that mute button when your notifications get too crazy. Go ahead, just shut it down, but leave it up for us. Don't run from it,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm very excited about the match. This is Kenny's first singles match on Dynamite since he wrestled Alan Angels, ironically in the same building, and it is also in the same building as Kenny Omega versus Pac. So this Independence, Missouri seems to be a nice building for Kenny Omega.
Did you say Alan Angels?
Yes.
And were we just talking about Ryan Satin a second ago?
Wow, look at that. Look at the synergy.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, like you had mentioned, like if everybody knew how to do this, and that would just become the process, right? Like,
right.
Damian Lillard was just on last week on JJ Reddick's podcast, and both of them were talking about like what time in their careers they kind of realized like this 3-point thing is like it has to go to the next level, and it's going to continue to go, so everybody has to catch up. And they were both talking about like the 2018 Rockets team, and they were saying like, bro, like we're going down the court and like we're getting good looks, and we score, like we're scoring, we're playing well, and then we look up and we're down 17. We're like, what the fuck? and then JJ was like, it happened to me with the same team, and I remember we scored on 4 or 5 trips, or 3 and 4 trips, and we were down 11 at the time. After we did all that, scoring 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, we were down 16. Like, you have to start shooting 30-something threes a game, or you're done. Like that, you're losing to math. You're not losing to the level of play. You're losing to the math. And like, if there were something that's like flat out like empirical as the math on you need to shoot more 3-pointers, just based off of the true shooting percentage output, right? Then these companies will all be doing it, and doing it in their own way to kind of keep their identity as promotion, but also make sure they get that money, because this is a capitalist society we live in. These people didn't become billionaires or were let me phrase that. These people weren't nepo babies from people that had a bunch of money, Vince included, by just not like knowing how to, or not wanting to make money, right? Like they want to do both. They want to have their vision and also like have it not, get dropped. So yeah, like people got to come to like some reasonable like sense on like, yeah, there's not really answers on this. Like we think we like people, they try stuff all the time. AEW tries stuff all the time. If they have it, and they're gonna keep trying until they find out that the analytics on it, right? Like the perfect,
no one's stat guy, like, Tony Khan will probably study it.
This segment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 16 to hit the jackpot, and then he'll do it every single week. But it hasn't quite been figured out yet. The chase for perfection continues.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely looking forward to the match. But yeah, it is the birthday